I started doing these interview series to really help our community, by curating the collective knowledge of experts in different fields and then distilling every conversation into actionable steps we can all take to improve our lives and our businesses to get through this difficult time and thrive beyond it. And, with the thought of making our businesses thrive, our topic today is digital marketing now more than ever. At a time when many companies are cutting costs and they're pulling back on advertising budgets, there's truly a golden opportunity to be seen, to be heard, and to be known. And I'm excited to have this conversation with a friend and a marketing expert, Lael Sturm, who will be sharing helpful tips for all of us to market ourselves better. By making our businesses more visible right now and making them more accessible, we can ensure that they are ultimately more successful, even during these challenging times. Lael is a founder and managing director of LPSS Digital Marketing, which is a full service marketing and strategy agency. Now, Lael has worked with very well known companies, including MTV, Microsoft, Bloomberg, and Virgin Airways. But he also does a lot of work with startups and professional services firms, including solopreneurs and professionals who want to reach more ideal customers. And so with that, it's my pleasure to bring in Lael into our conversation.
Hi, thanks, Roman.
Hey, Lael, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
So listen, it's we're living in a crazy time. Um, like I said, the topic of the conversation is digital marketing now more than ever. Why now? Why more than ever?
Thank you. Great question. So, I think digital marketing is critical all the time, but now more so because we're so limited in terms of access to people in other environments during this, shelter at home stage. You're robbed of opportunities to go out and meet with clients in person, go to networking events, go to conferences, speak on panels, and just get out in the world. I mean, I never thought I would crave the day when I would have a middle seat on a cross country airplane, but man, the lack of human contact is really palpable. So why digital marketing? Why now more than ever? It's really your only access to your existing clients, to your referral partners, to your potential clients, and to people who may desperately need your services as much as you may desperately need their dollars in order to keep your business afloat. So, unfortunately, the sad truth is digital may be all you have. So it's time to make it an important part of your mix. If you've not taken it seriously in the past, now is a great time to make it a critical part of your mix. And if you are already doing digital marketing, which I suspect you are in some way or another, it's time to maybe get more serious about how you're doing it and what the results are supposed to look like so that you can actually use it as a tool to grow your business and not just as something that you're doing to check the box on doing it, which I know many people had done in the past.
Well, and that's a great place to start. And I guess one thing that is on my mind, I'm sure it's on the
I've
minds.
lost your audio.
Okay, hold on a second. Can you hear me now? How about now? Can you hear me okay? Hey, if anybody's watching live, if you can hear me, can you please say yes in the comments below? We may be having some tech difficulties here, and we'll try to resolve them as quickly as we can. Lael, is this better?
Is not ideal, but I know problems happen. So
problems do happen. Hang on a second.
My speakers are up. My headphones are up.
Can you hear me?
I also can hear you.
It looks like so Yulia is online and she says she can hear both of us.
Can hear both of us, so that's a good sign. It's going to be hard for you to convey questions to me, though, if I if I can't hear you. It could just be a monologue.
Well, let's do this. Hold on. So I'm going to ask, is digital marketing a crazy
I don't know. Maybe you can type
thing to
questions to
do
me.
now?
Maybe I can just try to anticipate your questions.
How about that?
Is digital marketing a crazy thing to do now? No, arguably, not doing digital marketing would be a crazy thing to do now. I know a lot of people are concerned about budgets. They're trying to conserve money where they can, and in the short term, I admire that. I mean, you have to be careful how you spend your money, but during market downturns, whether it's this dramatic crisis or whether it's a minor correction, what happens is ad rates plummet. So you can actually get more for less. So if you've got any budget allocated, it's gonna reach a much larger target audience. It's going to allow you to really grab market share, and just like you might be inclined to pull back your investments when the stock market tanks. Conventional wisdom is actually that's the opportunity to buy. I would misquote Warren Buffett, but I know that he's got some clever sayings about buying when everybody else is selling and selling when everybody else is buying. And the same is true for marketing. So you want to look around your industry, see what other people are doing, and then run in the other direction. Marketing spend is important all the time, but now you can actually get much more with less. So you should be looking at this both as a way to keep your business afloat through these tough times, but also as a way to come out of these tough times in a much better position than you had been in the past. So you really do want to be spending on marketing and investing in marketing broadly to the extent that you can.
All right. So if Lael looks like cannot hear me, but I think our audience can hear both of us. So here's my next question related to Lael's comment.
Yeah. So the kinds of things that you should be doing right now, and frankly, this is not just a now recommendation. The smartest way to go about your marketing is to think about what success looks like and start there. So are you trying to make your phone ring with inbound client inquiries? Are you trying to increase your reach so that your message reaches a broader audience? Are you trying to I was going to say sell tickets to an event, but obviously there's no events right now. But raise donations. Are you trying to get app installs or downloads? Every business has a slightly different metric for success, and thinking about what that success looks like is really the place you want to start your marketing process. So it's almost starting with the end and then working back to the beginning. So once you've got success defined, once you know what you're trying to achieve, then you can start thinking about who you need to reach in order to effectively cause that success to happen. So who is your ideal client? Where is that ideal client? What's that ideal client doing now? During their shelter at home stage, or what are they doing professionally, or what is their circumstance? Are they on social media? Are they participating in webinar type events? Are they listening to podcasts? Where can you reach those people? And then once you can define where to reach them, who they are, what you want the outcome to be, that sort of makes your path clear. So, for example, if you are a business-to-business service provider, you may be able to reasonably assume that your target audience is going to be on LinkedIn. What can you do effectively on LinkedIn in either a paid or an organic capacity? And I'll define that just briefly. Organic is the things that you post naturally without paying into the platform. So it might be a picture of your dinner posted to Instagram. It might be a comment in a group within LinkedIn or Facebook. It might be a tweet. Hey, this is what's going on with our business, or this is what my opinion is of the latest ruling coming out of the governing body of my organization, or whatever. So that's organic. It's stuff that just comes from you or your business, and you can post it. Paid is anything that you're paying into the platform to share with a broader audience. So it might be an ad, it might be literally a call to action. Call us when, with our phone number, or it might be sort of a hybrid, which it would still be considered paid, which is where you see an organic post. So you've posted something organic. You see that it's getting some traction organically. People are engaging with it and sharing it and liking it and commenting on it. You can then pay to boost that post out to a broader audience. This is a great way to take advantage of the fact that you're seeing engagement already on an organic level and get that message out to a much bigger audience. So these are the things you should be doing: paid and organic on the channels where your ideal client is located. So figure out success, think about the ideal client, identify where you're likely to find them, and then start crafting messages, organic and paid, to put into those channels. And to some extent, this advice is ideal if you're going after them on social media. It can also be used for other things. If your ideal client, I don't know, watches NASCAR, you want to figure out how to get some sort of awareness in the NASCAR community, whether that's digital channels or sponsoring a race car, or going to the event and setting up a table outside. Think about where your clients are, and then go there to be in front of them.
That's great. Now, Lael is having some technical difficulties and he can't hear me. So we're doing this in part by voice, in part by chat. So it's a little choppier, but here's a follow-up question to Lael. And so you mentioned, or Lael mentioned, that paid ads are coming down. And my follow-up question then is, for businesses that are already doing paid online ad marketing, what kind of strategies are working right now?
So right now, people are in desperate times, and they're not going to be open to every sort of paid message. Now, that's not to say that if you've got a business that seems like not the most appropriate thing to promote during a crisis, that you shouldn't be marketing at all. And actually, I'm going to circle back to that with an anecdote in a moment. But obviously, if you serve a client need that is very, very pressing to help people get through these tough times, you almost owe it to them to get your message out. I mean, not marketing and not selling, if your service is going to help people get through this, you're doing a disservice to them. So, obviously, if you've got some sort of, program that helps the elderly, that would benefit them, that would help them stay where they are and maintain connection to community, or get their basic needs met, it's critical that you're marketing. We're seeing a lot of clients in various legal categories that should be marketing and often are marketing. So, sadly, wills and trusts are a big thing right now. And if you provide that kind of service, it's important that you let people know what they don't know. Financial services, people who can give guidance around some of the government programs to help companies stay funded and stay afloat. So those are spot on, and those make sense. Now, if you've got a business that seems a little bit less appropriate, I want to say, in 2001, when 9/11 happened, I was working in the marketing department at MTV. And it became very, very clear very, very quickly that the kind of content that was programmed on MTV was inappropriate for the solemn moment that the nation was having, and consequently, the leadership switched all of that programming off and moved the channel to news coverage. And after a couple of days of news coverage that was basically just being patched in from a sister network that was doing 24-hour news coverage, the decision was made, and I think wisely, to go back to entertainment content. So to get some of the silly reality shows and music news and opinion and stuff back on the air, because it actually provided a salve and an escape from people who were going through some really rough challenges. The same is true now. People need an escape. So if you've got a business or a service that provides some escape, there's no reason why you shouldn't be marketing it. In fact, I would encourage you to really increase your marketing push. Now is the time to share with people and to let them know, that there is an alternative. They don't have to be thinking about the crisis or the challenges to their family or business all the time. They need a break, and especially in light of the fact that there's no sports, there's very little original programming happening. Short of streaming media, people are really, really short on options. There's nowhere to go. So if you've got a podcast, or you've got I don't know, even a daily jokes email or something, some way to lighten the mood, you really should be marketing that.
I want to ask you a follow-up question to that, Lael, and that is, you had mentioned social media in different perspective, and my question is: should professionals who are using, say, LinkedIn, consider more kind of traditional social networks like Facebook, Instagram, and some of the others?
Yeah, it's a good question, and something that we address all the time, not just in this moment. Uh, Facebook and Instagram are incredibly powerful platforms. What makes them scary is the same thing that makes them effective and great for professionals in just about every business. We often hear from clients kind of a note of surprise. Facebook? I don't use Facebook, or
Mm.
my business is serious. We're in a sector that wouldn't be appropriate on Facebook. Well, at the end of the day, uh, the end decision maker, the person who's going to decide whether to engage with your firm to buy your product or service, that person is just a person. And they may have an official role in business. They may have a senior role. They may command armies of people and huge budgets, but when the day is over, they go home and sit on the couch and watch TV just like the rest of us. And Facebook is a tool that's used by individual people. Consequently, there's a great opportunity to use it to get in front of those decision makers, even if those decision makers may not necessarily be using Facebook in a professional capacity. I'm reminded, if you ever watch like the Sunday news shows, you'll often see ads for Halliburton. Well, the ads for Halliburton are landing on me. I don't get to decide. I've got no business for Halliburton. Basically, those ads are sort of wasted on me, but they're put into those Sunday news shows because the decision makers, the people who are engaging Halliburton, are also watching those news shows. So just because your business may not be a fit for Facebook doesn't mean you should ignore its incredible ability to connect with people. And frankly, the targeting ability within Facebook is tremendous. And by the way, I say Facebook is the parent company. I'm including Instagram. Instagram in many ways is even more compelling in terms of how they traffic their ads, and really should not be ignored regardless of what business you're in. Even as an industry insider, somebody who knows how the ad game works, how the algorithms work broadly, I myself am powerless to resist the influence that Instagram has, and their ability to put just the right ads in front of me at just the right moment. In fact, I clicked on one today that just completely, just hit the nail on the head. It was something that I hadn't even realized was going to be appropriate for me. It was an ad for putting an additional dwelling unit in your backyard. And that wasn't really top of mind, but somehow Instagram knew that I was going to see that ad and think, maybe I should do this. Maybe this would be an appropriate thing. At the very least, it would be a place to take shelter in the storm, and at the best, maybe it's an additional revenue source. So, so both of these channels, all of these social channels, should be considered, and Facebook and Instagram really has a role to play in just about every business out there.
Awesome. Thank you, Lael. So, as it so happened, while you were talking about some of the more traditional professional or professionals marketing themselves online, and you had mentioned estate planning. So we have a great estate planner listening and watching right now, and she asked 2 questions. I'm going to take them out of order because one applies more to the particular thing we just talked about. So can you address this question from Yulia, please? You know what? And he might not be seeing. One second. I will copy it. Let's see. We're rolling with the punches here, folks, when technology gives us a blip. So Instagram, LinkedIn. 1 second.
It's funny, I can't really hear you. And so I'm depending on reading what's on the screen, and consequently, I can take my headphones off. I look like an air traffic controller. If I can't hear, I can't hear. It looks like Yulia is asking a question. It's a great question. I'm happy to jump in with it. So as a follow-up to the current topic, which tools to use? Do you find email campaigns more personal than Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? So yes and no, it can be. It sort of depends on how you're using your email. If you've got tools set up that are going to segment the audience and give the right message to the right person, email can be great. However, I think you would agree that most of us are buried in email. So the email, it seems, has only increased since this crisis began, and while I still read important emails, I'm finding it necessary to really ignore a greater quantity of emails. So, anytime a business emails me with their, COVID-19 strategy, I just delete it, because I don't care if my web hosting company is taking the necessary precautions. I mean, I want them to protect their people for sure. I mean, absolutely take whatever precautions are necessary, but that's an HR thing. Like, as a customer, I don't need to know that. And more of those emails are landing in my inbox, which makes the valuable messages within my inbox a little bit harder to find, and sort of reduces the value that I put on messages that are coming through my inbox. So I think email generally needs to play an important part in your marketing mix. I really, really highly recommend that if you're not using modern tools to segment, to tag, to track how people are engaging with your emails, you should absolutely do that. But no, I would not say that it's more personal or more targeted than some of the other channels.
That's great. Thanks, Lael. And this actually is a really good tie-in to Yulia's first question, which goes back to strategy. And so I'm going to bring her comment. It may not come across in full, just because we're limited on the screen space. So I'm going to add that as a comment below?
Yeah. So the question is the difference between content marketing and content strategy during these odd times. Content strategy is the umbrella. Content marketing is really a tactic within that strategy. So content strategy may include, what kinds of content are you creating? Are you recording videos? Are you writing blog posts? Are you posting to Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook? All of this is included in your content strategy, and you should have a content calendar that dictates when those items should be produced, what subjects you're going to be writing on, what resources you need to pull together in order to create that content. And actually, Roman's got some other content on content creation that you should definitely check out. There's really some actionable stuff. So you should have a content strategy before you put your content marketing tactics to work. Content marketing is how you're getting that content out into the world, and also what the purpose is of that content. So, for example, to touch on your earlier point about email, sending an email newsletter is content marketing, but you need a content strategy in order to create that content and develop a compelling thread there. Content marketing is, saying that you're going to post 5 times a week to LinkedIn and actually following through with it. The content strategy is going to inform what content goes out and sort of hold you to the plan. But getting it out there is key. And then figuring out what you want that content to be doing for your business in a marketing capacity is also critical, so you can know if you're having success or not. Putting stuff out there is step one, but you're not just putting stuff out there to add content to the world. You're hopefully putting stuff out there to add value to a conversation, and how people interact with that content, what they then do with it. Do they share it? Do they comment on it? Does it lead to a phone call? Does it lead to some sort of a sale or a click to a landing page? What are you causing with that content? That's part of your content marketing, which fits nicely into your content strategy.
Now, Lael, thank you for clarifying that. And I think there's a good follow-up question that I would have for that. And that is, from a marketing perspective, if there are other digital strategies that we should consider using that you hadn't mentioned yet that fall into the more traditional email and social media marketing type.
Yeah. So digital is an interesting animal. The kind of the topic of this conversation is digital marketing, but there are other things that you can be doing digitally, and frankly, these fall more into the strategy pile than the marketing pile, in order to grow your business, develop new revenue streams, solidify your position as an expert in your industry. And all of these things are critical. Some of them have a dual purpose of serving your marketing needs, in addition to building your brand and establishing your voice, and growing revenue. So, for example, we support clients who do online courses. So they might have a 5 or 10 part course that creates some sort of a certification or educates their client base in some way, and they're charging a fee for that. In fact, we've got a course in development for a client right now who is an attorney, he's a business attorney, and he supports startup technology companies and angel investors and VCs and everybody in that ecosystem. So he's putting together a number of courses with our support to sell to people who are interested in getting into that space. So say you're considering becoming an angel investor and you don't really know where to start, and you don't know what questions to ask, and you don't know what a good deal would look like. You can take this course in order to educate yourself, and it's a paid course. So he's setting it up as an alternative revenue stream, so that in addition to the legal work that his firm does, he can sell this course, and it's infinitely scalable. So, it costs him one price to make it, and he can sell 10 of them or 10,000 of them or 10 million of them. And there's no additional cost to him in order to distribute that content. So it's a great supplement to his existing business. And that's another great use of digital assets and sort of online channels that serve a dual purpose of revenue generation and marketing. Clearly, he's establishing himself as an expert by putting this stuff out there, and the side benefit, in addition to the revenue on this stuff, is that it can drive new client acquisition. So if somebody buys the course, says, okay, now I'm educated on how to be an angel investor, but I need an attorney to look at this deal before I invest, that person is likely to call my client and engage him for legal work, which is his core business.
Lael, this is really helpful. Jen Lee is one of those attorneys who is wonderful at doing online digital marketing. And I think she definitely is active on the podcasting side. She publishes a lot to her website and a blog. I don't know if there's a course, but she has a question. What are you recommending for the course platforms?
So it looks like another question from the audience. Jen Lee asked, what are your recommendations for course platforms? There's a number of them out there. There's pros and cons to most. We use a platform called Kartra, Kartra. I know Roman has some experience with that as well. It's incredibly robust. I would go a step further and say borderline overkill for most people, but there's a number of alternatives, and it sort of depends on what you're trying to achieve. There are platforms that have baked-in audiences where you can get to a huge audience. They wind up being competitive from a topic perspective. There's other people that are experts in your topic as well that have courses. If you host it yourself, you can sort of sell it to your own audience without worrying about price shoppers or comparison shoppers. We actually have a webinar, and I think Roman can put up the link for this, a course creation webinar that we make available for free to anybody that wants to learn more and kind of dig deeper into the strategies and tactics for actually executing that. But also we share some details on tools that are available in the marketplace. So I think looks like Roman put up our main link to our website. You can use that to get in touch with us and find out about a variety of things. We'll also add a link directly to the course in the notes if we can't get it on screen right now. So there should be a clickable link in the notes as well.
And Jen, one of those platforms that I know is also very popular for course creation is called Kajabi, or I think it's called New Kajabi now, and it's a lot simpler than Kartra is, but both are very robust. And thank you for asking the question. And Yulia was also saying thank you, Lael, for your answers. Now, I do have another question. And it's hard for us to have this conversation without Lael actually hearing what I'm saying, but we'll try to ask him to tell us a little bit more about his business and who they help and how they can help those of us who need their help.
Yeah, so it's funny because I can't hear you, and I'm sort of trying to read your lips and then read along with the comments. I just kind of smiled thinking about that, and then it occurred to me, I have no idea what he's saying. He could be talking about something really, really dark, and here I am smirking about it. So I hope that I smiled at an appropriate time. So your question here, tell us about LPSS, who can you help and how? So we're a full-service marketing agency. We support a variety of businesses. I like to say that we're agnostic, although we do tend to gravitate to regulated industries. So what that means is people that have oversight and concerns about what gets published in their name. We're one of the few agencies that is really, really diligent about working only with onshore providers. So my whole team is based in North America. We also have built in an approval layer to our process. So any marketing that we do for clients goes through a compliance layer where the client themselves or whoever has oversight of their content can actually approve or give us feedback before it goes live. Our services include organic digital media, organic social media. So we write posts for clients and under their guidance and post them out to their social channels on a regular basis. We do engagement, we drive awareness, and all with an eye towards results. We also do paid campaigns. So those are the hybrid boosted posts that I mentioned. We do all of the targeting on social media. We run ads on Google. We actively manage the campaigns. We create all of the content, all of the ads, and do all of the audience targeting and budget management. The other thing we do is we build websites and marketing automation tools. So, to the point earlier about course creation and course hosting, we ramp clients up on tools like Kartra so that they can host their own courses, so that they can build automated email sequences. So when somebody signs up to download a white paper or view a video, we can automatically trigger an email suggesting that they set up a call, or we can score them accordingly as they make their way through the various assets on the client's website, so that the client then can connect with the most qualified leads and not waste their time talking to people who are not clearly ideal. So that's the bulk of it. What we like to think of it as is the blocking and tackling, the execution side of marketing. So we'll help with strategy, but we're really the shop you come to when you're ready to do the work, and that's what we do. We're your outsourced marketing firm.
Well, that's a great way, I think, for us to close this talk. And it's regardless and despite the challenges, thank you for rolling with these tech punches with us today. Unfortunately, Lael couldn't really hear what I was saying, but I think we did all right, and we've answered some questions. So, Lael, thank you. I'm going to pull up his email. So if you have questions, you can reach out to Lael at lpss.co and ask him any questions. And I'm going to ask Lael if he can leave us with any last comments. 1 second. And here we go.
Just thank you, Roman. This has been quite an adventure. The most interesting interview I've had that I can think of. We're always looking for new ways to support the community. As much as we're a business and we sell our services and are looking for clients, we really want to contribute value. We really want to see businesses thrive. We really want to be a part of that success. Everything we do, and in fact, even internal meetings, the goal is to add value and make the person that we're talking to richer than when they started the conversation. So, we've got a variety of free resources available that you can email me about. We've been doing since this thing started, we've been doing free weekly online office hours where people could just drop in and ask questions. You could stay for the full office hours and hear what other people have to say, or you could just come for 10 minutes and get your question answered and go. And we're making lots and lots of webinars and other content available to really help our clients and the broader community make it through this thing intact, and use this as a chance to grow their business and be more successful and more well-rounded than maybe they were before, so that the next time something happens, they're prepared and they can move on. So I just want to say thank you so much, Roman. This has been a lot of fun, very, very interesting. And I look forward to actually listening to the recording and hearing both sides of the conversation, because I'm sure you had some interesting comments that I was unable to hear.
Thank you, Lael. It was a pleasure having you on the talk today. And as a personal note, I've known Lael, and for a few years we have worked together. We have used the services of LPSS, and I can say that they do really good work. And there's a lot of resources that Lael is constantly putting out, and especially now in response to all of the downturn that businesses are experiencing associated with COVID-19. They're definitely putting a lot of resources for us as small businesses, closely held businesses, solopreneurs, professionals to ramp up our own skill set around digital marketing and how to put ourselves out to the world in the best light and speak to the ideal customers that might need our help. So, Lael, again, thank you. Thanks everybody else for watching. And that's a wrap. Bye.